Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of CookieCast. So in CookieCast, it's the football podcast. The guys are here, and honestly, I can't imagine there's anything to really discuss this week in the football. Absolutely nothing has gone on in the football this week. Nothing newsworthy, nothing of note, nothing that changes anything for the end of the season or anything at all. Nothing has happened. I imagine this is going to be a 10-minute podcast of these guys going, well, nothing happened this week. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Share that podcast around, people. You know you'll love it. You know somebody else who will love it. Send it their way. They'll love it. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast Football Podcast.
Welcome on back, ladies and gentlemen. And no, once again, your eyes are not deceiving you for those of you joining us on YouTube. It is indeed a 4P, ladies and gentlemen. That is correct. It is myself and three amigos to go through the ins, outs, ups and downs of Middlesbrough, Hull and Nottingham Forest for you. We're joined again by Getting Over's Max Hepworth. How are we, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
And we'll get to how I am slightly later in the pod, for reasons that will become very apparent when we get to a particular game that we need to predict later on this week. Mezzers, Moore and Woodmansey, how are we this week, gentlemen?
Good, yeah. Yeah, that's plain sailing at the moment.
Excellent, very nice. Stu, all good?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, my week's been, what should we say, frustrating. Because you know when you think you're prepared for something, and then all of a sudden you're not prepared for something, and then you are prepared, and then you're not prepared for something. It's just been a bit of a frustrating week. I can't really put my finger on why.
Yeah, I can't possibly comment on that just yet. So why don't we jump into the first game? I said the first game, the only game we have to cover from week 37. Where to start with this one? Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest, and absolutely nothing of controversy happened in this one, did it, Matthew?
Well, it's just, compared to everything else, it's just a mild controversy. Kind of.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'll say something that I heard the other day for about this for later. But yeah, so obviously Forest went to Old Trafford for the 12:30 Sunday kickoff, which was never really a thing. I assume it's because they moved all the Premier League matches to the Sunday, and even though the 12:30, I don't know. See, I can't remember. Is it on Sky or is it on TNT? The 12:30 game.
It's normally on TNT. It's still TNT Sports, obviously, but yeah. So the 12:30 kickoff is normally the TNT window, but I don't know if they don't have like a license to show games on a Sunday at that time.
Probably not. It's probably all Sky.
In the week leading up to the game, anytime I turned anything on to do with Sky, it was just plastered all over there. Every single remaining Premier League game, and I was like, calm down. It's 20. It's not.
The last 2
it's
weeks.
Not like it's not like you've got 86 games that you're going to be showing live within the next couple of weeks or something. So yeah, just steady on, Mr. Sky.
The last 2 weeks of games, and about 4 of them matter. And now, kind of actually even less of them matter now. The last day, 2 games matter. Well, I mean, fair enough, European stuff in there and there. But so yeah, 12:30 game. An early start at Old Trafford. So kind of quite a strong team. Gibbs White played with his mask, looking like Cody Rhodes, if for those wrestling fans amongst us. And yeah, it started really, really well by absolutely shocking defending at the back, and Luke Shaw sticking it in the back of the net. We always joke on here that in general, if you need an England player who's out of form to score some goals, play one of our teams. So, yeah, Luke Shaw, I mean, his finish was tidy. The defending was not. And then I think United kind of dominated the game pretty well. Kind of think and had a lot of control of it. Forest kind of played their part. Nothing much until half time. To which then Forest equalised just after about 8 minutes after half time. Anderson, I think, took a short corner and it kind of went a little bit wrong. But then Anderson kind of like older brothered Diallo out the way and whipped in across that. Morato scooped in and headed it. Really nice finish. And then apparently the game turned into rugby or basketball kind of thing. As I don't know I can't remember who crossed the ball into the box. Milenkovic took a swipe at it, and then, I mean, to be fair, what Mbeumo did is a foul in basketball as well. So it would, if the basket wouldn't have counted if he would have scored on that either. But yeah, ball went up, it hit him on the thigh and the arm, and then got trapped on his thigh and arm for a little bit, and then he swiveled and took a shot, and then it went to Cunha, who stuck it in the back of the net. And most people, I think, we've talked about the handball rules before. They're very confusing. And because obviously all the United fans pop up and go, well, the rule says if it deflects off his arm and then it goes to a player and it sticks it in the back of the net, that's accidental. That's not what happened, because the ball stopped. It dropped at his feet. He was able to swivel, turn, have a shot that was then blocked by Nico Williams, that then went to Cunha to stick back in the net. So that's not the ball was going in that general direction anyway, and it kind of went that way. Yes, you.
His level of control was akin to somebody playing the bagpipes. He definitely gave it a bit of a squeeze under his arm just to keep hold of the ball.
It was shocking.
But it's just not even up for debate, is it? Like, I don't understand how anyone can see that, like, either freeze frame or the full thing in context, and say that his arm being in the position it was hasn't aided the control of the ball. It's just just so blatant. It's just baffling.
And it's not
even like the worst. Stu might be about to say something that I'm about to say, but I think the worst thing is the fact that Gary Neville, the most staunch Manchester United fan on the planet, was even amazed that it was given.
Yeah,
It was
that combined with the fact that whilst he was what the fuck, the referee was busy having his second and third look at it, to which everybody else went, yeah, it's still handball, and the referee went, nah, carry on.
Accidental. He didn't mean it. He definitely didn't mean to catch it, because that's, I think, and also like a lot of people said, when the person who scores, and Cunha, he likes to celebrate a goal, didn't, you kind of know what's coming, really. So yeah, he's not reffing this weekend.
Really
surprising.
Great. That's really
good. That's going to say that's good. That's a good little boon for Forest, isn't it? They can take that and get some points
to learn
with it.
out what the handball rules are.
Wait a minute. Breaking news: he's just been assigned to the playoff final.
Oh, yay! Lovely.
Special request of Southampton. Cunha scored the second goal. United scored the third. And if there hadn't have been this, if there hadn't have been the handball controversy, how else would you have known that Bruno Fernandes had broken the assist record? Because we definitely didn't talk about it for the week 2, 3, 4 before this, and it definitely wasn't something that he wasn't definitely looking for throughout the game, and he definitely didn't talk about himself first question after the match as well. So yeah, he played the ball through, and Mbeumo slotted it in. 3-1 to United, and then again Elliot Anderson picks the ball up on the right, fires the ball in, and I mean, Gibbs White, I don't know how he finished it, but it was an absolutely cracking finish, just side-footed into the side of the net. I think Forest tried to push for the to get the equaliser, but couldn't. Forest put on their social media, which was Gibbs White's best goal in Manchester this year. So obviously you got the back heel against City that he tucked away, or was it that one against United? And I was like, oh, you know what? It's way closer than what you think, kind of thing. Because of that, the finish against Man United was really good because Anderson fired that ball across. But apparently Gibbs White kept after that was just like, keep on doing that again, keep on doing that. I want to score another goal like that. So a loss at the end, but a decent amount of fight. And we got shafted as well. So it's a typical afternoon at Old Trafford. I was listening to a Forest podcast with Franz Carr, so like a winger in the early 90s, and he's like, "Yeah, that's an Old Trafford call. That one. It's like you just get those. It's just you expect it and you hope that you can get over it." And he's like, "Unfortunately, they didn't get over that one." But he was like,
yeah. There was a game that Borough played there, I think in like the early 2000s. And they got given a penalty. And apparently it was the first time that there'd been a penalty given at Old Trafford in something ridiculous like 200 games or something stupid. That might not be the exact amount, but and the best thing about it was the fact that the second it was given, I believe every single one of the United players was straight around the referee, harassing him and telling him what a terrible decision it was and stuff like that. And I don't think they got any sort of sanctions given against them at all, which was lovely to see. So, predictions-wise, there are points, but there's not many. I'd gone for a 2-2 draw, so I'm incredibly pissed off. Obviously not as pissed off as Mr. Mo, but, for different reasons. And sadly, none of my goal scorers were Shaw, Cunha, and Mbeumo, Morata, or Morgan Gibbs White, so I get 0 points. Boo. Stuart gone for a 1-1 draw, and he also didn't pick any of those 5 goal scorers, so he also gets 0 points. Matt did not pick any of the goal scorers, but did go for a 2-1 Manchester United victory, so gets himself 1 point. Max, however, went for a 2-0 Manchester United win and picked Mbeumo to score a goal. So technically, gets a bonus point for that. Very questionable. Oh no, it wasn't the Mbeumo goal, was it? It was the Cunha goal.
No.
Sorry, very, very much not questionable. I'm sorry, Max. You definitely earned those 2 points and take the win this week with those 2 points. Well done to you, sir. So that brings us on to week 38 and our last 2 games of the season. And when we were recording last week, obviously half of the podcast was very happy and half of the podcast was very sad as the 2 of us had lost our semi-finals. 2 of us had won our semi-finals. The 2 Hull fans in the group, very, very happy. So we were looking at a Hull versus Southampton playoff final up until about 6:45 p.m. on Tuesday, the 19th of May, when EFL Communications released the following statement. An independent disciplinary commission has today expelled Southampton from the Sky Bet Championship playoffs after the club admitted to multiple breaches of EFL regulations related to the unauthorised filming of other clubs' training. In addition, the club has received a 4-point deduction that will be applied to the 2026-2027 Championship table. The effect of today's order is that Middlesbrough are reinstated into the 2026 playoffs and will proceed to the playoff final against Hull City. The final remains scheduled for Saturday, the 23rd of May, with the kick-off time to be confirmed. A later correspondence stated, that later correspondence actually came on Wednesday, the 20th of May, to state that Saturday's Sky Bet Championship playoff final between Hull City and Middlesbrough will kick off at 15:30. Should the outcome of the ongoing appeal process result in the final being contested by Hull City and Southampton, the kick-off time for the fixture will remain at 16:30. So obviously we've got some predicting to do, and it involves both of our teams. Where do we start with this one, fellas?
I feel like we need to start at the point that announcement was made was, full disclosure, just a little over 24 hours from the point of recording, and it feels like every hour something else has dropped out of the woodwork regarding the severity of Southampton's wrongdoing, what everybody thinks about where Middlesbrough should be or shouldn't be, or Southampton should be and shouldn't be. I did quite enjoy the fact that on the radio they'd sent somebody down to St Mary's to ask Southampton fans around the ground what they thought. And I think they fully expected every single one of them to be like, well, it's wrong. Literally everybody they asked went, well, if they've done something wrong and they've been caught, they deserve to be punished. And again, we've between certainly myself, Matt, and Paul, like, it's been discussed. It's always the fans that end up paying for it. All of the tickets went on sale to Southampton fans. If that decision stands, they've got to refund all those Southampton fans. They ain't going to get refunds for their non-refundable train tickets, hotel rooms, whatever. It's just an absolute farce in that regard. I am, however, not saying I think Southampton should be in the final because it's ludicrous. I think another thing as well to make clear is that it's been specified that the punishment for spying during the playoffs is the expulsion, and they've admitted to charges of spying during the league, and the punishment for the league spying is the points deduction. They've admitted to 3 counts, 1 in the playoffs, 2 in the league. How many more are we about to find out about over the course of the next week or so, if not longer? It's already come out that there has been WhatsApp messages from the manager, who, by the way, if you just cast your mind back to last week's podcast, definitely walked out of press conferences because he was outraged that he would be accused of being a cheat. And it was not showing him any respect by asking him if he was a cheat. Well, it turns out it's looking like the man has been caught red-handed because these messages seem to confirm instructions as to exactly what he wanted to be done.
With that one, the reporter, I believe, was a guy called Dom Shaw from the Northern Echo. By right, he should be able to sort of ask for a public apology there for someone accusing him of having no respect, because he had full respect because he was asking a legitimate question based on the reports that he had been told about what was going on.
What I can't understand, and I know that
100% true.
Sorry, mate.
But it's 100% true. He is a cheat, and they are a cheating club, and it doesn't matter what they say. And like Stu said, they've admitted to 3. It's a strange how they admitted to the 3 that they didn't win. They went on an 18-game winning streak against lots of without losing streak. You don't just do it 3 times. And I hope that all other EFL clubs are going through they're going to have CCTV on all their training grounds. So they're gonna hopefully they do a really good job of going through it. And I hope that if they have done it more than 3 times that they've admitted to, I hope that everybody comes out and absolutely stiffs them. And I hope, because it's absolutely disgusting. And I'm not going to sit there and Joby McAnuff's like holding English football at a higher thing than other football in the rest of the world. That's bullshit. But this is cheating. Going and taping other clubs' training sessions is cheating. And once you've admitted it and you've done it, but the fact that you're going to turn around and go, oh, we've only done it 3 times. Oh, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining, because it's 100% not just 3 times, because it's just the 3 times that you've got caught. Because I presume the reason why it's been the 3 times is because Oxford came out and went, oh, yeah, we've seen that prick hanging around our training ground before as well. And we thought that was a bit weird, but we just thought it was someone taking too much of an interest in our training session. Like, there's just it's if you've done it 3 times, you've done it more. You've 100% done it more than that. And I think like their chief executive coming out and saying it's disproportionate because Leeds got fined 200 grand for once during the league phase, as opposed to this after a rule was put in place.
But also as well, don't forget that the Leeds thing, the Leeds incident, was the reason that the rules and therefore the punishment was also updated because nobody had ever been such a set of cheating scumbags before. And it turns around, Southampton said, "Oh, hang on, Leeds, hold my beer."
To put like, obviously not to sort of give Leeds credit and stuff like that, but to sort of give Bielsa a little bit of credit. He fronted it up and he fully owned up to it. He fully took the blame for it. He paid the fine that Leeds were giving himself. And then I think he went on and actually invited all of the press and all of the sort of the media outlets to a presentation where he sort of went through the sort of the stuff that he'd found from the sort of the spying session and how he intended to use it in the game plan or something like that. So he properly was like, yeah, I got caught. I can show you what I'm going to use it for if you want and stuff like that. So
the stuff that I'd read as well, obviously Eckert coming from Germany, apparently, obviously it's not seen as the right thing to do, but as there are no rules in place against doing the spying, it apparently is rife. So that makes it okay then, does it?
Yeah, it's a strange one. I don't know if anyone else had seen, but apparently there was reports that the guy who'd come to the Borough training ground, like the idea, had he not been caught, was that he was going to come back the following day for the next training session. Apparently, that's the reports. So obviously they'd sent him with the idea of doing multiple days worth of like checks and reporting and spying and stuff like that. So it's only the fact that he was caught on the first day that it didn't go any further. So God knows what he'd seen in the first sort of training session, but had he not been caught, the potential would have been that, like, Borough could have done penalties, even more set piece routines and stuff like that. So, like, God knows what he's found from these other. I mean, it might not even be him. They might have sent other people to the other team's training sessions and stuff like that. But regardless, this appeal process that Southampton have launched started at 6 p.m. this evening, so Wednesday the 20th. And as at the time of recording, I've not heard anything, I've not seen anything to indicate that they're going to get the ruling overturned and be reinstated. So as it stands, we will be
one
going
more thing
ahead.
as well.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
For the Ipswich spying, apparently at the time they were sharing a training ground with Eastleigh. So the guy turned up in Eastleigh in an Eastleigh training tracksuit, so it could blend in with the rest of the Eastleigh lot. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? For me, it clearly is a very premeditated thing. Obviously, it's premeditated, but to go as far as buying the training kit for the club at the time were sharing a training pitch with, so you can get in undetected, is just it's mind-boggling, isn't it? Like, and if they're going to go to those depths and those lengths, you've got to imagine that it's been going on for a prolonged period.
Can you imagine getting that order at Eastleigh? Oh, we've got an order that's got to be shipped to Southampton, a Mr. T. Eckhart. Oh, well, that's the first time we've had this order. Oh, fucking hell, I wonder what's going on. He must be a real fan of us.
We're too busy doing backflips down the warehouse. We've actually sold one. I just want to wind it back a little bit because I can't move on from. Matt mentioned that the Southampton owner had put out.
You could have just finished that sentence right there. We can't move on. It's been.
but the Southampton owner has put out the statement saying that he feels the punishment is disproportionate. Actually, mate, I don't feel like it's heavy enough, and I feel like you, maybe not you personally knowing, but the team that you have employed have not only brought your club into disrepute, but really the integrity of the entire league over the course of potentially a full season. So I would suggest at this point you take your fucking 4 points, shove it straight down your throat, and fuck off. Because realistically, why are they even being allowed? Whoever finished third bottom, swap them round. Fucking kick them into League One because they don't deserve it. And I don't care if people think that's harsh. You make an example and you do it now, and it never happens again.
That's what I think that it all boils down to, doesn't it? Like, whilst the punishment may seem severe, it has to be,
Yeah.
because if it's not severe, if it just ends up being that it gets overturned and it just ends up being a fine and a points deduction, and they get reinstated into the game, and then they go on and win, the financial reward that they'll get from winning the final will be like, will make whatever fine they get a pittance. They'll just pay it and just laugh all their way to the bank once they're doing it. And the points deduction probably won't even apply until the next season they're back in the championship, which obviously will be in a year's time because they're not good enough to stay up.
If you walked into a casino with the intention of trying to film it to make money, and you got caught once, you'd get kicked out. If you got caught doing it 3 times, you would absolutely be hauled in front of the law with potential for prison and all sorts. And
Yeah.
the only difference is that the casinos will be covered by actual, what I would call actual law, whereas this is just football rules in this sense.
Yeah.
So it's no difference. You're doing it for financial gain, to gain an unfair advantage, whether it be card counting or watching a training session, to gain the advantage to make the extra money unlawfully. So
Yeah.
I don't see much difference myself in the sense of, if it ever turned that they could prosecute properly. Again, don't think that's too harsh.
I think I don't think we're far off that being a possibility in future if stuff like this happens again. I think, like, legitimate legal proceedings from like a crown prosecution potentially would be where it goes next and stuff like that. But so yeah, as it stands, the final is still. I say still. The final is Hull versus Middlesbrough to take place at 3:30 on Saturday afternoon. So that is the game we will be predicting when it comes to doing our predictions. So, in that regard, what I think is probably best is if we take a very small, slight break, just recompose ourselves. Maybe Stu needs to go get a drink and maybe just let himself out the front door just to let off a little bit of steam, because he looks a bit angry, does the lad? I can only presume that steam coming out of his ears is actually coming out of the radiator that's behind him, and not the actual sort of venting that's coming from his seethingness. But yes, we'll take a very short break, and then we'll come back at you with our predictions for the final 2 games of the season. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And just like that, the break is over, and we will be doing our predictions. So, as stated in the first half of the show, the first game that we have to predict is the final that I didn't want, but now will gleefully have, as my team wasn't even in it about 28 hours ago. It's Hull City versus Middlesbrough for a place in the Premier League. Now, normally, obviously, the team that supports the person that supports the team would be the person that goes last. So since there's 3 of us involved in this particular game, don't really know I'm going to do that. What I do know is that Matt will give the first prediction, as he doesn't really have any skin in the game on this one. So we'll go to Matt. We'll see which particular side of the fence he's leaning towards, or if he's slap bang on the middle and then just has to sort of let his tongue decide which way he's going.
My prediction is Matt's gonna say a draw, and that the penalty shootout will still be going on this time next week.
Yeah, I have gone for a 1-1 draw, with Galhart to score for Hull and Whittaker to score for Middlesbrough. I've not gone for many goals, spoiler alert, because there generally aren't many in playoffs. And then I've gone for Hull on penalties. It was like literally toss the coin and go with whatever it said. So yeah, that's what I've gone with. Nice
Fair
painful
enough.
afternoon for everybody.
Lovely. Yeah. Just everyone just biting the fingers down to the nubs when it comes to about 5:45 or whatever it'll be at that particular point. I'll tell you what, we'll split the Hull fans, and I'll be the meat in the middle of that particular Hull sandwich, shall we? So we'll go to Max for his thoughts first.
Personally, I don't think it's going to go ahead this weekend.
That
I
is
think
also
it's,
another concern.
but I do think, regardless, I fancy Hull City to win. I am going for a 1-0 victory, and I'm going for Ollie McBurney to score. Whether
Okay.
that be Middlesbrough or Southampton or Millwall or Wrexham or whoever they want us to play against, I fancy Hull City to beat anyone in a one-off game at Wembley Stadium.
They've certainly got the pedigree for it, so it wouldn't be the first time it's happened. Okay, so we'll leave Stu's prediction till last. I think with everything that's gone on and the whole murkiness and messiness of the situation, I feel like it would only be just and only be fitting that Middlesbrough end up winning the game and we do this whole dance over again for another 2 or 3 weeks. And then it all just gets voided and we just end up starting the playoffs all over again or something ridiculous happens like that.
The problem with that
So I've gone.
is that the problem with that is obviously there's a World Cup that starts in a month, and
Yeah, like 21 days or something at this point.
I think Scotland play on the 14th of June.
Yeah.
So
And
that's something that Ajahn was on about this afternoon in his interview. They can't postpone it. I disagree. I do disagree, Max. I think it will go on Saturday, whatever game it might end up being, because on Sunday, 7 of the Hull City squad have got to report to their national sides. I mean, I would hope that they have a hell of a hangover when they're doing it, but they can't push it beyond the weekend because otherwise it creates other levels of, well, that's not fair, and it just rumbles on and on and on, and we can't have the playoff final take place the weekend before the actual next season starts because you just can't do that.
No. So yes, so I've gone with the boys to win. So I've gone for a 2-1 Borough win. I've gone for McBurney to score for Hull. Then I've gone for Whitaker. And back from his long injury layoff, I've gone for Hayden Hackney to get a winner. Which takes me to Mr. Woodmansey for our last prediction in Hull versus Middlesbrough.
I have to start by saying that I think it's very safe to say this was not on anybody's prediction list at the start of the season.
No.
Um,
Nope.
in a way, it's both the best possible final because one of our teams will go up, but also the worst because whichever way around, if Hull win, obviously I'll be pleased that they've won, but I know that it's then at the expense of your team, which kind of
Oh yeah.
takes a lot of the edge off it for me, if I'm quite honest.
I love that Max is actually I couldn't give a fuck.
But it's the third playoff final, championship playoff final, certainly in my lifetime, and they've won the last two 1-0 with an absolute fucking screamer. So, on that note, I'm going to also go for a 1-0 win with a Regan Slater thunderbolt from outside the area.
Has he ever done that in his career?
Yes.
Oh, fair enough then.
He's also done it already this season. He hit the ball so
Oh, fair
hard that
enough.
he hit the ball so hard that he hurt his own ankle.
I think we definitely covered that on the podcast, actually. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. So no surprise. Well, it should be to anybody. The whole fans have backed their own team. I've backed my own team, and that's how it should be, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you're playing against, a Man City or something where thinking you're going to win is just ridiculous, and then obviously you go and beat them. So that's the big one out of the way. So we're going to finish the season with Nottingham Forest's last game of the season, and they are at home to everyone's favourite South Coast dweller. It's not Southampton, it's Bournemouth. Obviously, it's Matt's team, so he will give us the last prediction of the season. I'll open us up here. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. Gone for Morgan Gibbs-White and Elliot Anderson for Forest, Evan Nielsen and Marcus Tavernier for Bournemouth. Stu.
Well, as we know, Bournemouth have been on a bit of a tear. Are they still playing for Europe as well?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
as it stands, they are guaranteed European football next season. The level of competition will be determined by how their last result goes.
So they can range from playing like virtual non-league European football to big league European football.
I hate to say it, but like they've got one eye on Europe. I think it'll be a race for Forest to who gets on the plane first for their jollies, or to report to their national sides. I'm really sorry, Matt, but I'm going to go for Bournemouth to win purely because of the two sides. They probably need to be asked. Whereas Forest have had a rough, well, not rough, but a busy season. Bournemouth have had fuck all else to do. Let's be fair. So, I'm gonna go for a 1-0 Bournemouth win, and I'm gonna go for Evan Nielsen to score.
Max.
2-1 to the Cherries, I believe the nickname is. I might be wrong. I'm going for Eli Junior Krupe and Evan Nielsen. And I am also going to go for Gibbs White.
I'm assuming he'll still be Zorroed up this weekend as well.
Oh yeah.
No, I imagine he'll be wearing that for a while, surely, because that little zipper he had on his face was looking pretty cheesy. So, delightful. So that just brings us to Mr. Moore to give us the final prediction of the season.
So I think I messaged you guys the other day saying Bournemouth are the only team that Forest haven't beaten in the top flight since we came back up. I also the other day was listening to something, and out of the last 5 seasons Forest have played, so including their last one in the Championship, they've had a total of 5 games that haven't meant anything. So most season that it's gone to like the last game of the season, or obviously the season that we got promoted, when I don't think it was quite last game of the season, but obviously then we had 3 games for the playoffs. So we haven't beaten Bournemouth since we come back up. This is one of the few games that we've had in the Premier League which hasn't meant anything. I'm hoping that like some possibly like players that might leave this summer will get a game, or that Pereira will have a look at some kind of players that have been on the fringes. Obviously, McAtee came on both against United and against Newcastle and played well. So I've gone for a hopeful 2-2 draw. because I hate Bournemouth, so I hope that we kind of really screw them and stick them in the Conference League, because that's apparently that costs you money to virtually enter. So, I hate Southampton at the moment. I will always hate Bournemouth. So I've gone a Awoniyi, and I've put Anderson to score, so I've gone for 2-2 draw, Awoniyi and Anderson. I'm kind of hoping that maybe Forest only bring him on for the last half hour, because I don't want him to miss out on going to play for England this summer. And then I've gone Kruppi and Evan-Nielsen to score for Bournemouth.
Tell you something, if Evan-Nielsen don't play in this game, we're all screwed for points.
He's not in the Brazil squad, is he? So he's got nothing to lose. And
no, that's true.
I mean, to be fair, I'm saying Evan-Nielsen, and he doesn't score very often.
No, he's one of those players who plays as a striker, but he's not. His main job isn't really to score goals. It's obviously to sort of create the spaces and stuff like that. In speaking of the people that didn't get called up for their national team that have already named their squads, I thought it was quite funny that apparently Richarlison had spent the previous season doing conditioning work and making sure his body was in tip-top shape for the summer, to not even get named in the provisional squad for Brazil.
Oh, God.
So,
well,
whoops-a-daisy.
At least he had a lovely time.
He's had a great season. He's had a great season where Spurs can't finish any higher than 17th for the second season in a row.
But they also don't have the option of a trophy at this point, so it's actually worse.
So normally that's where we just end the podcast, but I do feel it would be remiss of us to look at the stuff that can be settled in the Premier League on the final day. So obviously the main sort of stuff is obviously the settling out of the European places. If Villa go on to win the Europa League final, which to slightly date the podcast and slightly put a little peek behind the curtain, they currently are doing, and then finish 5th, which would need them to lose and Liverpool to win, then the team that finishes 6th will get Champions League, apparently. So that could be Bournemouth. Could also be Brighton if Bournemouth lose against Forest and Brighton beat Man United. So all things that could happen. And then at the bottom, it's one of Spurs or West Ham that join Burnley and Wolves in the Championship next season, where they'll play one of Middlesbrough or Hull, sadly.
I mean, they will play other teams as well. It's not just...
Well, yeah, obviously. Southampton.
46 games playing each other.
It would stop the spying. It would make the spying irrelevant.
I did forget. I'm going on Sunday.
Oh, nice, excellent.
Yeah, me and the old boy are going. And on Sunday they are unveiling. So obviously the Bridgeford End, as it's been known, well, all the time I've gone to Forest, is being renamed the John Robertson Stand. Obviously, because he passed away earlier this year, and they're unveiling. I presume they're unveiling the lettering across the stand. Slight caveat to that: the Bridgeford End is scheduled to be redeveloped soon. So those letters will be going up, but they're doing the Peter Taylor stand first, obviously with the big expansion of the stadium. But obviously, for those people who know the City Ground, obviously the Bridgeford End kind of goes across, then dips down, because there's some houses behind there, and they don't want the sun to not be in their back garden. But I assume Marinakis has laid gold in their hands or horses' heads in their beds.
Allegedly.
No, he's got a defamation lawsuit going at the moment. It's a joke. Jokes. I don't want a horse head in my bed. More jokes.
He's been very kind to those people. Very kind.
But yes, so to link that up with the Peter Taylor stand. But yes, so they are unveiling and kind of like a bit of a thing, I presume, before the game on Sunday to kind of show off the new stand. Well, not to show off the new name for the stand.
What they haven't told you, Matt, is that is the redevelopment. They're just changing
Yeah,
the lettering.
They had to put that through the council a million times. And, pay 10 million to Nottingham City Council.
It's like the old style football lettering. They realised they fucked up when they charged per letter. That was the.
Oh, John Robertson stand. What?
Can we just call it John?
A second. No, it's going to be the fact that it's going to go down as the JR stand. So you just got loads of confused wrestling fans and confused Dallas fans from back in the day. Just turning up,
dating us.
paying homage and stuff like that. Yes. So that's it. That's the end of the pod for this week, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, the only thing left to do is in the next couple of weeks is to go through our season-long predictions. That probably won't come at you next week, as I'm not here. I'm not in the country. So I won't be able to do the podcast next week. So I might have to have a little week break and then come back the following week to go through
depending on what happens this coming weekend, we might need a week apart so that I think that's probably fair.
Yes, might be for the best. So yes, a thank you as always to these three gentlemen for joining me to go through the details of their teams, and a thank you to you, the listeners, the watchers, for joining us all these weeks this season. One game to go for all three of our teams, and then it's all done and dusted for another year. So join us again in a couple of weeks' time, where we'll go through all those predictions we just did. And like I said, we'll look back at our season-long predictions as well. Until then, it's tatty bye from me, tatty bye from these three, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time. Au revoir.
So there you go. What do you think to that? What a time. My word. Big thank you for watching. Big thank you for listening. Big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That's it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to these grumpy old men talk about football. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe.